What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, we have to talk about Johnny Depp's appeal being ruled down, that it's not going to happen. It's a sad day. Sad day. It's a day where the justice for Johnny Depp hashtag is more important than, I guess, in between days, right? The days of the court hearings and the judgments and all those kind of things. Those were probably the best days to get that hashtag out there, and boy, oh boy, are people doing it. So that's kind of the first thing. Look, at the end of the day, and I talked about this, I think actually a few videos ago, how do you show support for this kind of stuff? Well, right now, again, I mean, supporting the stuff he's in, not supporting the stuff Amber Heard's in, and then also just being loud on social media. We know companies watch hashtags. In fact, we know Disney in particular. Now, I guess maybe it's Lucasfilm, but Disney in general obviously was watching that Fire Gina Carano hashtag, and that's really all we have to kind of support the idea that they do follow hashtags, but rumor is on the inside that they do watch these Twitter hashtags. They do watch this stuff. So the bottom line is, we'll talk about the court case and what kind of comes next, but bottom line is we have to be loud. We can't cross any lines, no threats, no attacks, stuff like that, but you have to be very, very loud today, tomorrow, all of these days, the justice for Johnny Depp stuff, and we go from there. I don't think this means it's over whatsoever. I think the only thing that could have happened here is obviously if the appeal was like, okay, you can basically do a redo. I think obviously that would have looked really, really, really good, and we would have gotten good news sooner rather than later. But I don't think him being denied it is necessarily, it's not necessarily the worst thing. It does suck. It's absolutely like a blow. It's another chance to talk about how she's a liar and all of the stuff that was kind of overlooked or just not even thought about in the court case. Like, it is a time to do that, but at the same time, again, I don't think many people were expecting it. I wonder, the lawyers don't go into it, especially like these lawyers for Johnny Depp, they probably don't go into it like assuming and hoping that they're going to lose, right? But I mean, I assume there was some sort of thought process that, okay, well, it seems like it's rigged from the beginning, so why would they let us appeal it in the first place, right? So that's what seems to have happened. That's okay. We move forward now to the U.S. one. With that being said, we can still talk a little bit again about this UK case. Now, before I get too much further, let me just say this. As always, if you guys are new here, if you guys have been here, make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you guys have the bell icon turned on. I cover Pirates of the Caribbean / Johnny Depp stuff every single week. I'm a diehard Pirates of the Caribbean fan. I've been covering it on YouTube for no joke almost 5 years. Probably the longest, most consistent, biggest channel that's done it on YouTube in that time, okay? And so, again, make sure you guys are doing that stuff. And final thing, we're very close to 2,000 followers over on Twitter. So speaking of Twitter with the Justice for Johnny Depp stuff, if you guys haven't followed me over on Twitter, Podcast Now 15 is my Twitter handle. Link for that is in the description below. Would love to have you guys follow me. Like I said, we're only like 20 followers away from 2,000. Would love to hit it today, tomorrow, very, very soon. So, you're going to have the people that still are on Amber's side. I have no idea how that's even possible. I have seen even people in my own group, and I have nothing against these people. They'll say, well, he did do stuff too. And the whole point that I've always said, I've seen, there's a lot of channels. There's probably like a 5, 6, 7 channels that I know of that cover this very consistently. And I've seen the same narrative in a good way. Like, it's not a bad narrative. Same narrative from them as me, where it's like, yeah, if you want to say anything, you could say they're both messed up people. Now, I don't think Johnny Depp is like pure evil. In fact, the stuff that Amber Heard is doing, the stuff that she's lied about, the stuff that people that have been with her, like her friends and relatives, that they've lied about, her not donating the money to the charity that she said she was going to do, which, by the way, the UK, the appeals, they basically said that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter, and that the judge didn't even mention that at all when he was ruling on the 14 verdicts. But like, they missed. And I want to say this real fast, okay? Because I want to talk about this because I just kind of walked myself into it. They literally missed the whole point. And that, I mean, it's not shocking when you're dealing with a bunch of morons, because that's what, and not even just morons, but also corrupt individuals, that you have to supply the narrative of women are always right. That's what, I mean, you have to do that, especially in this case. I mean, literally the title, the headline is that, that Johnny Depp is a wife something, right? And if you go against that, I mean, my dear God, unless you're the fans, because obviously he's got the fan support. We've said that multiple times. Johnny Depp 100% has has the public support behind him. Not even just people online. I think people just in general. I've said this before. Like my mom. My mom is 59 years old. She, she's a massive Johnny Depp fan. She believes him, and she's not like on social media. I think there's a lot of people that are on his side that aren't even very vocal about it, which is awesome, and that's completely fine. The point is, I mean, how do you say that had nothing to do with it? Like, okay, now here's what I'll say. Again, I didn't expect this to actually go through. I think a lot of people didn't expect this to go through, but what Johnny Depp's lawyers were kind of, positioning it as in terms of why this was actually a big deal is because it kind of all connects, and it goes back to the gold digger kind of argument, and it really has a bigger impact on all of the stuff that this court case was about. And again, to say that like it has no meaning, well, no, I mean, even not even like legal talk, but like, okay, she lied. She said that she donated this money. She donated a fraction. Now, okay, she donated more than most of us could ever do in our lives, and that's great, okay? But at the same time, when you promise $7 million and you don't give, you give a fraction of that, you are a flat out liar. And you're doing some of this stuff, actually most of it, for basically for clout. You're doing it for the headlines. You're doing it to like look good, right? All this kind of stuff. So like if she did that, well, then did she lie about other things? Plus, then there's connection between, the judge has connections to Amber Heard, all this stuff. I mean, again, it's just a complete disaster, this UK case. But I think that they had a pretty solid argument there where it's like, well, what, like, I guess it doesn't necessarily mean, I get it. It's a court of law, okay, so you have to indeed prove things. But I mean, what about the recordings of her literally admitting this stuff? So to go back to the Johnny Depp thing, yeah, they both are flawed individuals, but one of them definitely seems like it's for malicious intent. Okay, I'm not saying that Johnny Depp is a perfect human being and he's done nothing wrong. I'm sure he has. It's just, number one, there's a actually, not even number one, in all, there's a huge double standard going on, not just in their jobs, right? Her keeping all of hers and him being fired, but also she did stuff to him, and arguably, I guess this is subjective, she did worse stuff to him than he did to her by like a mile. Okay, the only reason that it's so bad, that it seems so bad, is because she's a woman. And I don't say that lightly, but the whole believe all women thing is definitely this is why that's actually not at all what we should be doing. You believe now I would say you believe the evidence. Well, obviously some court systems are corrupt, but you got to prove things. There's a reason why it's innocent until proven guilty. You know what I mean? You don't just believe women just because of their gender. In fact, that's a certain word. Imagine if you said that for a different race or a different gender or whatever. That would sound pretty, and again, you can fill in the word that I'm trying to say, which I won't say on YouTube, but you can fill it in. And if it sounds like that when you switch the roles, then it's also that now. So believing all women is if you say believe all men, believe all white people, like all this stuff, like some of that sounds not that great, right? Well, then why would believe all women sound great? And that's where I've always stood on it. I'm not saying like they're by nature all awful people or something. You should never believe any of them. No, you just don't believe all of them, just like you shouldn't ever believe you know what I mean? Like stuff like that. So that's what the world has become, and that's what these judges, especially in the UK, that's what this has happened. So with that being said, the U.S. has its own whole set of problems here. So what comes next? Well, there's really nothing they can do now. It's over. They have to try and just accept what happened in that court case. I guess the next step is, okay, can he still get hired with the Tim Burton stuff? Can he still get these roles here or there? Could Disney, for the love of God, please rehire him? Stuff like that. That's the stuff you look forward to. And then the next obviously big thing is the US one. Now the US one, remember, is literally him versus her. This one was him versus the son, and it had her involved. But the U.S. one is literally him suing her, I believe, for $50 million, and she's countersuing him for $100 million, which is kind of the way, again, the world works. So that, I believe, now I know it got delayed till 2022. I think it's May, maybe it's April or May of 2022. So we have we have a full year still to wait for this, which is just stupid. It was supposed to actually start, I think it was supposed to start, February or March of this year. Like, it already would have been happening right now, but it got pushed. So that sucks, and it sucks that instead of like a 3 or 4 month delay, like just do it over the summer, instead it's like an entire year. So that's the next thing. Pray, cross your whatever, if you believe in a god, pray to whatever god that is, cross your fingers, do some sort of ritual, whatever you want to do, and just hope that the U.S. courts are going to be a little less corrupt, which they kind of are corrupt, but let's pretend in a fantasy world that they're going to be a little less corrupt in this case. I mean, it sucks. It really, really sucks. It's just another case of, and we can go down the abuse route where it's like this really can be demoralizing for men. Now, I've never been part of a relationship that's had this, right? But I know Jay, Degenerate Jay, who's a close friend of mine, right? And he's talked about it. I know, there's definitely men out there that have been, let's say, hurt by the opposite gender. And this does not help the case that, oh, okay, it's okay for you to speak out, because it doesn't seem like it. It doesn't seem like it. No matter what you think, that's also a big kind of social ramification. If you want to be like a social justice warrior, that is a social ramification of this entire thing. Forget Amber Heard, forget Johnny Depp. It's by doing this, another thing that's happening is, yeah, you are, I guess, increasing the whole believe all women thing, which is awesome, I guess, but not really. But really also what you're doing is saying that men can never be in the right with this stuff, that men can never experience this stuff and be able to say it, because it'll always, because you can have the female admitting it on tapes that they did this and nothing will happen to them, which is again, Amber literally admitted in those tapes that she did a ton of things to him. She mocked him for speaking out, all of this stuff, and nothing happens, which is just, I mean, that is literally corruption from the courts, if I've ever seen it. Okay, so that's my anger for today. I recorded a couple of videos like in a row. This is my first video, so good to get this out there and just done with to start with. So let me know, guys, in the comments below, what do you think? Are you disappointed by this? Did you expect this? Again, social ramifications, all that stuff. Let me know what you guys want to talk about in the comments. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when all these videos go up. Twitter, make sure you guys are following me, Podcast Now 15. Remember, hashtag justice for Johnny Depp. Very, very important, and I hope to see you all on the next video.